You do not need a guarantee to get clients in 2025, but you do need a very good offer. Those two things are not the same thing, and the reason why I know that is because over 95% of the people that schedule a call with us don't even know that we have a guarantee, and we book over 150 sales calls every single month. I also know this because we work with over 100 marketing agencies, a lot of which don't have guarantees and still get a ton of clients every single month. So once and for all, I'm gonna give you the exact 4-step process and the only 4 things that you truly need to build a very strong offer without having to have a guarantee so that you can get more clients more predictably. So the first thing that you need inside of your offer is an outcome, okay? Now that doesn't mean you need to guarantee the occurrence of that outcome in a specific amount of time. It just needs to be the fact that you are working towards a specific goal with your client, because no one is gonna buy your services for the sake of the services, right? They're gonna buy it for the outcome of the services, which is hopefully going to be in alignment with what they want. So I'll give you an example for what we do at our company, right? So in our messaging, we say we'll get you 120 appointments in 120 days, right? That's the specific outcome and that's the time frame. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Josh, this is very contradictory. You're just promising a lot and you're just saying you're gonna help them get a large amount of things, right? Now, this is where the interesting part comes in, is we've literally tested this in our cold email campaign, saying we'll get you 120 appointments in 120 days versus we will get you 2 to 3 appointments per week. And the one that was saying we'll get you 2 to 3 appointments a week had about a 1.1 positive reply rate, 1.1% positive reply rate. 120 appointments in 120 days had about a 0.5% positive reply rates. So more than double the people were more interested in 2 to 3 appointments per week than 120 appointments in 120 days. Now you might find that interesting, and I'm going to explain why that is the case. There's 2 reasons. Number 1, is because it just sounds more achievable, right? Nowadays, that like Hormozy and Iman have all talked about these, like, make these crazy guarantees. Like now everyone has these guarantees that are like super crazy and they're just promising a shit ton of things, right? Which is obviously why you're watching this, so you don't have to do that and you can ethically sell your service. But more people are just promising more things that they probably can't achieve, right? And because of that, the market is, depending on what niche you're in, if they're used to these kind of offers or not, but the market is kind of shifting away from that into thinking more reasonably, right? Because they've been burnt by these companies that are promising a ton of things. That's the first reason. And that just makes your life a lot easier because you can just be more realistic about what you can actually achieve, and then you'll be able to do that. Now, we are obviously booking more than 120 appointments in 30 days for ourselves, and we actually do achieve that, but that kind of works against us. But we basically just tell people we'll get a little less than we actually can, right? Here's the second reason. This is by far the most important thing, and if you can learn to get this down, you will never have a problem with getting clients and getting appointments. And no one talks about this. So this is what it is. It's about being specific, not about promising more. It's about showing them how specific you are about the result that you will get them, not about the amount of result that you will get them, okay? So I'm gonna give you an example here. So let's say you are working with gyms. If you were to say, here's a bad example, right? I'll make you an extra 20, it's a bad example. This could work, but it will work less good, right? I'll make you an extra 10K per month in revenue in 2 months for your gym, okay? That is offer number 1. Offer number 2 is I'll give you an extra 25 group training athletes through the door signed up to your gym in 2 months. It might be the same thing. 25 group training athletes might be also 10K per month, right? But which one is going to sound more compelling? The second one, because it's far more specific as to the way that you will get them 10K per month. And because you are being more specific about the way that you're going to achieve them a result and about something they can actually, like they can do the math, right? Okay, this is gonna make me this much. It's gonna sound more believable. If you just say 10K per month, they've probably heard that a lot more times before because most people that are targeting gyms just jumped into the gym niche in the last like 3 months and don't know anything about a gym and they're just saying 10K per month because it's like this fancy number, right? But if you can specifically say how you're going to make them and like imply that you're gonna make them that amount of money without actually by talking about the way that it's gonna happen, that only really gym owners would understand, that's gonna be more powerful. So this is how we apply this into our own script, right? This is the second reason why our campaign that was promising less worked better than the one that was promising more, is because what we do is we essentially have like an AI agent that basically scrapes the person's website, and it scrapes their LinkedIn profile, and it scrapes all their company information. And what it does is it finds the specific marketing service that they do. So we target marketing agencies specifically, right? But marketing agencies have different services. Some of them sell SEO, some of them sell Facebook ads, some of them they sell like websites, they sell different things, right? So what we do is we have an AI agent that basically goes into their website, scrapes their whole thing, figures out what their main marketing service is, and then gives us what it is, right? And if it doesn't know, it'll tell us if it is a marketing agency or not. And if it is, we'll just use marketing as a general term. And then what we do inside of our outreach is we don't say, we'll get you 2 to 3 appointments per week. We'll say, we'll get you 2 to 3 appointments with people looking for insert service per week. And when we do that, because it's so much more specific about the actual, like the specific person we are targeting, they will feel like we understand them more. And if they feel like we understand their problem and their situation just as good as they understand it themselves, they're going to be far more likely to believe that we can actually solve it, rather than us just saying we'll make you an extra 10K per month, right? That is number one. Number two is basically just the time frame. So this is very simple, and I've already covered this. Now I will touch on this, right? Because again, this goes back to the guarantee thing. Are you guaranteeing this time frame? No. So what you do is you have to, like, you just use the average of what you're getting for your clients. And if you don't have a ton of data, then you just use an estimate, okay? Now here's the hard truth, okay? If you do not have any, because I've heard this a million times, people say, oh, I can't guarantee any, like I don't, not guarantee, because again, we guarantee you don't have to do. But they don't, like, I can't say any specific time frame that someone's gonna achieve a result in. That's fine, but you have to have some concept of when someone would get a result, right? And you can base that concept on an average of the clients that you've worked with. If you don't have any idea, not even a remotely close idea as to when someone will get a result for a specific service, like you don't even have a clue, you're not good at what you do, and you should be working on commission until you have the data to know. That's just the facts, okay? Because if you've done this, even for like 20 people, you will know, you will have an average. Even if you've done it for 5 people, you'll have like some sort of rough estimate that you can say in your messaging. Again, we're not guaranteeing this result, but we should be able to say an average of what your clients are getting so that it feels more believable, okay? So the third thing is the risk reversal. Now this is the big part, this is the big concept that we're talking about in this video with the guarantee. Although arguably I would say the specificity one is also extremely important here. Now, risk reversal. So this is straight from Hormozi's book, but the risk reversal, obviously misinterpreted as a guarantee a lot of the time, is just something that increases the prospect's perceived likelihood of achievement that they will achieve an outcome, right? You probably already know this if you read the book. Now, I will give you examples of this so this makes more sense and so that you can actually apply this, right? So a guarantee is simply just one way to do that, right? Now, there are more ways to, there are also better ways of showing someone that you can, like, that what you're doing will have a higher likelihood of achievement than, like, of achieving the outcome that we talked about before than something else. The primary way of doing that is through case studies, and is through examples, and is through testimonials. So this is how you integrate that into your messaging. So this is something, we haven't actually run this campaign yet, but I was writing out some stuff this morning, and this is kind of what I came up with in terms of creating testimonial-based scripts. And then I'll give you an example of what I've actually done in terms of testimonial-based scripts inside of a LinkedIn outreach campaign, okay? So what I came up with this morning is, hey, I just connected with another, and then insert your niche, I was at another marketing company in your area named, insert the name of the case study, who got this result, right? And again, this is not guaranteed, you're just saying what happened to the specific person, right? And he was able to get, and again, you want to use the specificity, he was able to get this amount of SEO clients, or Facebook ads clients, or like Google review clients in this amount of days, right? The way he did this is by implementing a few AI automations that we were able to give him, right? Is it okay? Would you be open to would you be open to having a short conversation so I can walk you through the frameworks as to exactly how we did it, right? Very simple, and using, again, there's no guarantee, there's no promise in any of that. We're just simply stating what we did for a specific person, specifically how it relates to their agency, again, being specific about the service, and then talking about, obviously the outcome is implied in terms of what the other person got, and then just basically giving them an offer to show them how we did it, because that's valuable, right? So there's a couple things in there. But the idea is you want to keep it as concise as possible. You want to talk about the outcome. You want to talk about the time frame that he was able to achieve it in. And then obviously the last thing is the risk reversal is implied in the fact that you've done it for someone already before, right? You don't need to say, we'll guarantee that you get the same result, because you can't necessarily, I mean, you can guarantee it, right? Like on paper, like if you don't do it, you get a refund or whatever, right? But you don't have to actually guarantee this. And you can't necessarily guarantee the exact same result, but you don't have to put a guarantee in this either. And we didn't for this specific script, right? Because it's implied already, because the reason why we would have a guarantee is so that they believe that we can get them the result more, right? But the fact that we've done it for someone already before is significantly more convincing than saying that we can guarantee the result. It's also more convincing because it's implied in the message that we're sending, not like standing on its own. So I'll give you an example of what that would look like, right? So if you were to say, like your normal script, hey, we'll get you an extra 2 to 3 appointments a week in the next 2 weeks. By the way, we already helped 20 people achieve the same result, right? It's like, that's something that you could be lying about. There's a higher likelihood that you could be lying about that. But when you're telling a story of an example that happened to a client in a very short, like concise manner, that's more believable, because it's already like you're naturally talking about it within the conversation rather than it being its own thing, right? So it's more believable. So that's what we're trying. Now the example of what we've done is simply just talking. Like this you have to have more of a longer format. So what we did with LinkedIn, we don't do this anymore as much, just because we found it to be, there's more friction when you have to, basically we would send them a video, right? And there's a lot more friction that someone has to go through to actually click on a video versus read a piece of text, but this did work decently well. So we would send people a video after they were interested in our initial message, and we would just go over all of the people that we've worked with so far and the results that they've got in a specific time frame, and then obviously talk about the services that they did, so that they can match themselves up with one of those people, right? And that way, again, they were able to connect specifically to all those people, or to one or more of those people, and then want to schedule a call. Again, the only purpose for having the guarantee is really to give them enough confidence to want to speak with you, right? And if we can do that through averages and through case studies, and by being specific with the outcome that we deliver, we don't have to promise everything. And especially nowadays, where people have seen promises so many times, just talking about what you've actually done is far more compelling. Now, for those of you who are watching this and who don't have results, this is hard truth number 2, is that you have to bite the bullet a little bit for when you're starting up. Like, you have to reverse some of the risk onto yourself, right? Because no one's going to choose to work with you for the same price, for the same kind of offer, with no guarantee, versus someone else who has a guarantee and who's done this rather than someone who's done this a million times, right? The only way that you can get someone to take a bet on you like that is by changing the terms of the agreement. So that can be, you can lower your price. That's not typically the best way to do it, but this can be definitely something that you can do. You can do rev share deals. You can do commission only. You can do a guarantee, or if you don't accomplish a certain result, then you refund them. All of these things you should do, right? You have to either provide someone results to give them the confidence, or you have to just suck it up and do it yourself. And at the end of the day, if you don't have results and you are just learning, this is an opportunity for you to learn about how to do the thing, right? So you should be happy that they are even letting you use their ad account or whatever kind of service you're doing, because you are just learning, right? And once you have done this enough times, and once you've actually proven that you know how to do it, then you can start charging for it. Then you don't have to do all these guarantees if you don't want to. And then that's what you can do, right? But you have to bite the bullet in the beginning, okay? And the last thing, and this is very important as well, is the unique mechanism, all right? So this is something, and this is really the reason why most people don't get results in the agency space, is because they think that when someone tells them, when someone says to explain your service, right, in a pitch, for example, the purpose of the pitch is to explain your service, right? In outreach, that's not really the case, right? But a lot of people do it that way. What you need to do, what your unique mechanism is not your service, right? So Facebook ads is not the mechanism that you talk about inside of your offer. Google ads is not the mechanism. SEO is not the mechanism, right? All these services that you sell, whatever you sell, that is not what you need to be talking about, because that's just gonna blend you in with everyone else and remind them of all the other agencies that they've worked with who do the same service as you, who they got scammed by before. So you need to talk about what is unique to you, okay? And I know I just draw my pen. That sounds very trite, but I'll expand on this, right? What you need to do is you need to look at, okay, you have your service. What about your service is even slightly different, right? That is specific to you. What is one component of your service that you do that you can then overemphasize in your pitch to make yourself sound unique? I will give you an example about what we do. So one of the things that we do, right? Well, in general, what we do, this is not outbound, so I'm gonna break my own rule here, right? But what we do is we help people build out LinkedIn outbound and cold email outbound appointment booking systems for their marketing agency, right? Now, in terms of what we actually say in our outreach, we do not say that. If we said that, no one would give a crap, right? But what we say, one thing that we do inside of our cold email and inside of our LinkedIn outreach is we do something called intent-based targeting. What that means is we can look at signals and intent-based signals that we get from different AI softwares. Basically, I mean, I could talk about that for a long time. But basically what we're able to do is we're able to look at different things that might indicate that someone would be interested in our services, right? That's called intent-based targeting, or we call it that. I don't know, people call it different things. So that's just the lead sourcing part of what we do. Very small component of what we do. Now, that sounds very special to people when you say that, right? Because most people don't do that. So what we do is we don't say, we'll show you how our cold email system works. We'll say, we'll show you how our intent-based omni-channel is also something that we do, right? Because we do a combination of like phone setting, SMS setting, email setting, LinkedIn setting, all kind of combined. So we say we'll help you install our AI omni-channel intent-based targeting approach to be able to get an extra 2 to 3 appointments per week. And when you say all of that shit, right, even though it's just a small piece of what we do, we're overemphasizing it. So it's like the goal, so basically from the other person's perspective, they're like, what the heck is this? I've never heard of this before. It's like, wow, this must be the new best thing, right? And they probably won't have that kind of a reaction to it, right? But they're like, oh, okay, this is unique. Even though like it's just cold email, but we have like a different twist on it that makes it work better. And I mean, most people don't know what they're doing anyway with cold email, but that's a story for another day. But we kind of show that we do something a little bit different. And then because we're not just saying we do cold email, and we're just talking about the specific component to what we do that is unique, that helps us get better results than everyone else, then they become interested. So look at what you're doing. Talk to a lot of, I'll just give you an example of a client. He was doing Facebook ads and he had like a go high level AI like follow-up sequence where he had like an AI dialer that would call people and confirm their appointment, right? And that would increase show up rate. So he wouldn't talk about, hey, we'll run Facebook ads for you. He would talk about, hey, we'll install our AI confirmation nurture sequence to help you get an extra 30% of your appointments to show up. And this was like for like dental practice or something. And we've done this for, again, this guy didn't have any clients before, so he was doing a guarantee, or we don't get paid, right? So that offer worked really well. Again, being specific about the actual result, right? Getting this amount of, again, I don't exactly remember the type of clients that he was helping them get, but this kind of client will get them to help show up to your dental practice at this % more show up rate in the next time frame by implementing this unique component of what they do, right? Again, very small part of what they do, but that part was very unique. So he overemphasized that part, and then by implementing that into his cold email scripts, he was able to get a lot of replies and a lot of appointments, okay? So if you want me to, I know this sounds complicated, but if you rewatch this multiple times, you should get the idea. Those are the 4 things. If you just do these 4 things, I promise you, you will get significantly more appointments, okay? This sounds very confusing and you want me to just make this for you, I'd be happy to have a quick conversation. If you click the link in the description, you can talk with me or my team and we'll show you basically everything we do and how it works. But if not, I'll see you in the next video.